Surfing is undeniably one of the hardest sports in the world to learn, but in addition to all the technical aspects such as getting up to your feet, turning, duck diving, etc., there are also a heap of etiquette rules that you have to be familiar with. The most important of which has to be the drop-in rule. The drop-in rule is designed to keep you and fellow surfers safe and also to share the waves around in a more fair way. It's therefore really important that you know in detail what the drop-in rule is and how not to break it, not only so you don't upset other surfers, but also to keep you and everybody else safe. So here's my guide to the drop-in rule so you can stay safe in the water. The drop-in rule is really quite easily summarised by saying that the surfer closest to the curl has priority, but let's take a look at what that looks like in practice. The drop-in rule is easiest to picture if you imagine a wave breaking in one direction. The rules apply equally to a wave breaking in two directions, but we'll start by looking at a wave like this, a left-hand point break. The next thing you need is a surfer on the wave, and obviously for the drop-in rule you need a second surfer. So if we imagine the surfer in black is already up and riding, the surfer in red comes along further down the line into the same wave, he would have dropped in on the surfer in black. The same would apply if both of the surfers were laying down and paddling for the wave and the wave was unbroken. The surfer in the black and nearest to the curl would be the one with priority. Because of the way that the drop-in rule rewards the surfer nearest to the curl of the wave, it might be tempting to paddle deeper than your fellow surfers, particularly on a point break type situation, but don't. Not at least if you want any friends in the ocean anyway. This is known as snaking. Snaking is where you'd catch a wave, paddle back out to the takeoff zone and paddle deeper in order to regain the priority for the drop-in rule. It's a major faux pas and in my opinion is much worse than dropping in on somebody because it shows that you've got knowledge of the drop-in rule but don't care about sharing the waves and the other surfers in the ocean. The other thing with the drop-in rule is that some people can drop in by accident, whereas snaking is usually quite a deliberate act where people who know the rule are using it to their own advantage. So to summarise, the surfer closest to the curl has priority. On an unbroken wave, that would mean the surfer that's going to be closest to where the curl will be. Don't snake, that's take your turn. So once you've had a wave, don't paddle right back round to the deepest spot. Let the other surfers have their turn and almost see it like a queue as you work back up that queue until you're in the zone, unless a wide wave comes through and puts you in the zone because they're all too deep. As I say, I think it's really important that every surfer knows the drop-in rule to keep everybody in the ocean safe, so feel free to share this video, particularly if you've got some friends who don't know the rule or know the rule and decide not to follow it. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please press subscribe at the bottom of this video. There'll be more tutorials, tips, news and opinion in the future. I'll see you soon. Cheers.